Hi everybody, welcome to this week's video. This week we are going to be testing a bunch of new makeup launches. They're all in this bag here. Some of these are very new, some of these launched within the past year, but either way, most of these things, if not all of these things, I have not talked about on my channel yet, so you're going to get my thoughts on all of these new products. Some of these products I'm very, very excited to talk about. Other of these products I'm not that excited to talk about, so just keep watching and let's get into it. So let's get started with primer. The primer is the Covergirl Velvet Blur Skin Enhancer Primer. I don't love this primer. I have been using it. I don't think, I'm gonna put it on this side so you can compare. I don't think that it really actually does anything for the pores. However, under the eye, I love it. I love a kind of pore filling primer, a smoothing kind of silicone-y, dimethicone primer. Under the eyes, I think it prevents my concealer from creasing, settling, and I really love it for that. So that is my pro tip. If you struggle with your concealer settling in fine lines or creasing, breaking up throughout the day, make sure one, your under eye is hydrated, you have a good eye cream, and then go in with a pore filling primer. But one side with, one side without, really not a big difference. Now for foundation, the e.l.f. Soft Glam Foundation is the newest launch for foundation. I feel like that's going really viral. I don't love this foundation. I find it to be a little bit drying. It's not that user friendly because you have to work very quickly with it. This is the shade 10, by the way. This is the lightest shade. The shade match is pretty good for me. The next shade up is too dark though, so I just think they need more shades overall in the shade range. But it doesn't give much coverage. It really doesn't do anything. But once it sets down, you can't build up on top of it. If you want to build up the coverage, you need to work very quickly. Because if you try and build up the coverage once it has set down, and it sets down very quickly, it's just, it gets patchy, it picks up. And if you do build it up or you go in with just a lot to begin with, you do need to use a lot of the foundation for it to give a good amount of coverage, but it feels very heavy when you do that. And I don't like feeling like I have a glob of foundation on my face, which is how it feels when you are wearing enough to get any semblance of coverage. I think it wears okay. It wears pretty well throughout the day, but just because of how difficult it is to apply, I wouldn't recommend this foundation. This is one layer with a pretty good amount of foundation, and it's just kind of evened things out. It's more like a skin tint because it has even my skin tone, but there's no coverage. You can still see every breakout and blemish that I have. I don't have any new concealer, so I'm just gonna go in with one that I love. This is the NYX Bare With Me Serum Concealer. This is one of my favorite, most favorite. Beautiful, medium coverage, looks very natural on the skin. And I am just going to take that on my under eyes and then anywhere where I just want a little bit more coverage. Not new, but a long time favorite. And now you can see under the eyes, this side has the silicone primer under it and this one doesn't. I feel like this eye just looks so much more smooth because of that pore filling primer. They're doing landscaping outside. I really hope that you can't hear it, but they're not stopping anytime soon, so we just have to keep going. For cream blush, this is the Mango People Multistick. This is for lip and cheek, but we are going to be using it as a cream blush. This is in the shade Apricot. This is a really nice, it has a bit of a stiffer texture to it. It is a bit more matte. It's not super creamy, super radiant, but it wears very well. The color is stunning. They are extremely blendable. You have a lot of time to work with these. These were in my favorites video. I believe they are newer, but absolutely stunning. A really, really great formula if you want something that you can use on the lips, cheeks, and the eyes. I do have an entire review on Mango People's line in the cards somewhere, but fantastic. I have very few not great things to say about the Mango People product. Now this I have much less of an opinion on because I've only used it like once or twice. This is the new Saie Dew Bronze. I have the shade Sand. My friend Michaela did send this to me, so shout out to Michaela. I should have the shade Salt. So many people told me to pick up the shade Salt and that would be better because this is pretty warm. I just haven't reached for this that much. It is really nice. It's very sheer, very dewy. You'll see how it blends out here. I'm going to start with a little bit because this is truly how much bronzer I would typically use, but then once I blend it out, it like almost disappears. It's just what I got. It is very beginner friendly. If you're a full glam girl, this is not for you, but I don't really think anything from Saie is for you at that point. These are very sheer. They just add like a wash of a little bit of warmth and definition to the face. Very beginner friendly, very no makeup friendly, but if you are someone who wants more like a very bronzed look, I don't think you're gonna like these at all. The formula is very dewy, almost feels more like skincare than it does makeup. So you saw it blends out very nicely. The shade is just a little bit too warm for me, warmer than I would like, but ultimately, I think if you are either a beginner or you really like that clean girl aesthetic, or you just don't want a lot of bronzer, this is a really fantastic formula to be very glowy, very light. But if you like a very strong bronzer, this is not going to be for you. If I had this in a different shade, I think I would reach for it a lot more than I do. I'm gonna set my face with the Tower 28 Get Set setting powder in the shade Pink Palisades. Sorry, Palisades Pink. I keep saying it backwards. This is my ultimate new favorite powder. I've been wearing this powder for about a week, and it just sets the skin, blurs it, lasts all day. It touches up really well. It doesn't bunch up or cling to any dry patches. It doesn't crease, break apart. I mean, look at one side of my face, done. This is how it's gonna look all day. Nothing under it or over it is going to move. I don't know how they did this talc-free, because I feel like what makes the setting powders last and set the way that they do is talc. But for some reason, Tower 28, they did that. This is stunning. Like, the finish is a very soft matte. It is a beautiful formula, and it holds up throughout the entire day. Again, I'm shocked at how much I like this. And the shade is called Palisades Pink, but it's not a true pink. It's more of like a sandy pink. If anything, it's more skin toned than it is pink. So I really love this shade. I think if you are very picky with setting powders because either they look too powdery or they don't last long enough or they break up, this is spectacular, because those are my main issues with setting powders. That's why I hate like every setting powder that I own. This one doesn't do any of the things that I hate. I love this powder so much. It is almost impossible to go overboard with this powder. You can just keep piling it on. I'm just gonna keep adding powder, and it's not gonna get powdery, cakey, bunchy. It's just you can't do too much. Like, if anything, it just looks better when you just keep piling on more. Now I'm gonna go into a powder bronzer. This is from Dibs. This is their new Duet Baked Bronzer in the shade Vanilla Latte. This is honestly one of the lightest bronzers I own, which is so impressive, because if you're pale, you know a lot of bronzer ranges just don't go light enough. They're too dark or too orange. This is a very neutral tone and very light. So I'm just gonna pick up the smooth shade, not the marbled shade, on like a big fluffy brush. It is a pretty sheer, but it does just enough, in my opinion. It doesn't do too much. It's not too pigmented. It's not too dark. It's very light in color and pretty sheer, so you just sweep it around and it doesn't do too much. It's not trying to be anything that's not. It's not trying to be a crazy pigmented bronzer. It's trying to be what the pale girls want in a bronzer, which is something that's not going to overpower your face, because I feel like that's such a hard problem when I run into with bronzers, is that they change the shade of my face and they're very overpowering, and then my makeup looks terrible because my bronzer is too dark. But with this, I feel like it's very hard to go overboard, and it suits pale skin very well because it has a more neutral undertone. So it's adding that warmth without adding any orangeness. You guys know I loved my Jaclyn Cosmetics baked bronzer, but that is unfortunately now discontinued. The whole brand is discontinued. This is the closest thing I have found to replace that bronzer. I don't have any new powder blushes, so I'm just gonna go in with r.e.m. Pinking of You. Beautiful, stunning blush formula. You guys know this is one of my favorites. This isn't that new, but I don't think I've talked about it on my channel. If I have, I don't remember. But this is launched within the past year. I think these are the Rare Beauty Silky Touch Powder Highlights. This is the shade Enlighten. They call this like a cool champagne. It is pretty much a white. I have to be very careful with this highlight because it is a very intense, so I can only apply like that's what I'll pick up. And then I will just build from there, because if I go in with too much, it becomes a little bit hard to blend out, and then I end up with a white stripe on my face. So I just take my time with this highlight. It is a very beautiful, but you can go overboard with this highlight pretty easily, especially being such a light shade. Gorgeous, but be careful not to overdo it because it is a very intense formula and a very intense color. Also, please tell me I'm not the only person still doing a nose highlight in 2024. I don't know what it is, like the tip of the nose? I love it. And for eyeshadow, this is the Colourpop 1111 palette. If I can get it open. This is the Colourpop 1111 palette. I think this palette's okay. It looks more cool toned in the pans than the colors actually are when they're swatched. I have a video on my TikTok swatching every single color on this palette. Ultimately, it's more of a neutral than it is cool toned, which is what I thought it was going to be when I was looking at pictures online. But I will say I do love this shade Lucky Babe. It's just a matte, and I have been wearing this all over my lid and in my crease. It's just a really nice taupe shade. It's a little bit gray, a little bit pink, just suits my skin tone very well, I think. So when I've been doing like a matte one and done shadow, it's just been this, because it's not too much, just enough for an everyday, and you can even still build it up. The longest time I was always in denial of that taupe, like had a pinky undertone to it. I just wanted like a silver or like a gray, and I was looking at taupes and I was like, no, these all have like a warm undertone to them. They're all have like a pinkness under there, like a pink or red, and I just like, I didn't know that that's what taupe was, and I was in denial that that's what taupe was. The mattes in this formula are pretty standard Colourpop mattes. They're really beautiful. The shimmers, they're okay. This one is my favorite major change. Again, it's a little taupey, so I do like that one. The other shimmers aren't as great. I would say these three shimmers here, Total, Angel, Manifest It, and Balance, are not that great of a formula. And then this one right here, Reflect, is a very soft, very creamy. It's almost like liquid metal kind of look. It's very foiled. Overall, the shimmers in here are not my favorite. I love this formula, but I'm never gonna wear this color. So just overall, I don't think it's the best palette Colourpop has ever made, just in terms of the shimmers being not the best. I will pop on a little bit of that major change so you can see what it looks like. It's really nice. Again, goes with that Lucky Babe shade. But as you can see, the shimmers, they're not doing too much, and this is one of the better shimmers that aren't foiled in the palette. The mattes are beautiful, but these shimmers just like they're not doing it. And then I'm gonna take some of that Rare Beauty Enlighten and put that on the inner corners. I really like this on the eyes. I think this formula suits the eyes so well and just does a beautiful inner corner highlight. I'm just gonna do brows really quickly. I just use brow gels for my brows usually all the time. This is from the Creme Shop. This is their Flex Brow in the shade Deep Brown. This is really nice. It doesn't have too much hold. It is a fiber brow gel, so it's really just adding volume and tint. It's not giving you all day in place holds. We're gonna use a different brow gel for that. But in terms of being a fiber brow gel, I think this one, pretty good. No complaints. And now, if you want your brows to be in place all day, if you want the wind to fear your brows, the Maybelline Superlock is what you are looking for. This is a really great dupe for the Rare Beauty brow gel. It is technically marketed as a laminating brow gel. I don't use it like that though. I just run it through my brows like a regular brow gel. It doesn't leave any white flecks, white fluffies in the brows. It is completely clear. It doesn't take forever to remove from your brows. See, no white. It dries down pretty quickly and your brows are not moving. Your brow hairs are staying where this gel puts them. And for mascara, this is the Innae Beauty Lovely Lashes Waterproof Mascara. I do really like this mascara. I think it has a very cool and unique wand, natural bristles, little like arch shape to it. It's pretty small too, so you can really get all up in your lashes and it's not going to get everywhere. I don't love waterproof formulas. They're not my favorite just because I find them a little bit difficult to remove at the end of the day. This does fall in line with other waterproof mascara in the sense of it lasts all day, doesn't flake, doesn't smudge. It will come off with my regular cleansing balm, but I do like to go in with a separate waterproof mascara remover, one of those like biphase liquids, you know. It is a really beautiful mascara. It's a really beautiful, lovely lengthening mascara. It is $20, and a few years ago I probably would have said that's way too expensive for a mascara, and I still stand by that. However, drugstore mascaras are getting up to like $16, $17, $18, which is insane. And this is from a small independent company, Innae Beauty. This is their only product, is their mascara. Small company, lovely people. I've talked to them. It's a really great mascara. I do think it's wonderful, and it's worth $20, unfortunately. But no mascara is worth $20. I stand by that. No mascara should be more than like $8. None of them. None of them. A new lip liner. This is the Colourpop So Juicy lip liner. These are plumping lip liners. They have a peptide in them that is supposed to help plump your lips over time, and they have a little bit of menthol in it to plump your lips while you are wearing it as well. It is very creamy. It glides along the lips very well. It's not a traditional like lip pencil. It's not dry or anything like that. It is very, very creamy. I don't even think I said what shade this is. This is the shade Westwood. Gorgeous, stunning color. Normally with products that are this creamy, they do not have a lot of longevity. This does have, I would say, a good couple hours of longevity on your lips, unless like you're eating soup. Obviously it's gonna leave your lips if you're eating soup. But it dries down pretty well, keeps that kind of satin finish on the lips. Gorgeous color though, I love it. These are, I believe, like $9 or something. They're pretty affordable. For the price, I think they're a really great formula if you aren't looking for something that's super long wearing, but you like want some peptides, a little bit of plumping, feels nice, they smell nice, they apply very smooth, they don't skip, they're not patchy, they're not super drying on the lips. I think these are really good. I don't know if the So Juicy line is permanent from Colourpop. I think it is. But Colourpop like launches and discontinues lines all the time. I don't know what's limited edition and what's permanent. Now for lip gloss, I'm between two, the IT Cosmetics Confidence in a Serum Gloss or the e.l.f. Sun Boss Gloss. I will say I do love the IT Cosmetics Confidence in a Serum glosses. I think they are very smooth, shiny, very hydrating as well, which is very unique because I feel like a lot of glosses are just like, they kind of just do nothing. They're just shiny and pretty. These genuinely hydrating on the lips and a good medium to high shine on them. Stunning formula, beautiful. These are $26, however, which is a lot for a lip gloss. This is a very unique skincare lip gloss hybrid. It is the most hydrating, not just moisturizing, hydrating lip gloss I have ever used. So for that, it gets an A+. For the price, I wish they would knock off a couple bucks, I'm not gonna lie, but the formula is absolutely beautiful. This is the shade Self-Worth. I have gone through almost the entire thing. You can see it's like see-through. You can fully see the wand in there. It's a beautiful gloss. But I'm gonna go in with the e.l.f. one because this is the Sun Boss Gloss SPF 25. It has a mineral SPF, which I feel like lip products are always chemical SPF, and they're always in a stick, and they always have coconut oil, which are like things that I hate. But this is like a true gloss with an SPF 25. This is in the, what shade is it? This is in the shade Pink Me Girl. Matches this lip liner actually very well. It's like a nudie pink. I'll swatch it on my hand here so you can see like true color without the lip liner. It has a good medium shine to it, I would say. It's a little bit thick, but it's not sticky, but you can definitely feel that there is something on your lips. It's not like a toss on and go because it does have a good amount of pigment to it. I feel like you're gonna get like a pretty decent coverage for SPF with this, but again, lip products come and go on your lips so fast that I feel like it's something that I'm gonna reapply throughout the day, maybe not. That's when I would reach for something more like the Revlon Kiss lip balm that has SPF in it. I'm like digging in it because it's almost empty, or even the Vacation one. I don't love this one because I hate how it tastes, but it is completely clear. So for a look, I think this is good, but I don't think this is something that people are gonna be reapplying throughout the day. I know it's not something that I reapply throughout the day. I will put this on like for the look, and then maybe I'll bring it and touch up here and there, but I wouldn't rely on this for SPF for your lips because you're not going to be reapplying this like every 4 seconds. We know you're not. I would get a clear lip balm in those cases for like proper throughout the day SPF protection, but it doesn't have a super strong scent to it. It's like a little bit coconutty with a little bit of that like zinc scent, but it's really not bad. It doesn't linger. I hate a lot of scents and this doesn't bother me. So, and that is everything. I hope you enjoyed this video and learning my thoughts on some of these new makeup launches. Some of them are new, some of them are a little bit older, but I feel like makeup moves so fast that like new really means like launch this week, when to me like new means like launched within the past year. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video and I will see you in the next one.